This conference will now be recorded.
Thank
you, Herb or Rick. I was just thinking that we weren't doing it until we got people, but okay.
Right. So I stopped the drug. Okay. Then by that time, I had lost about close to 20 pounds. So now, and where the blood pressure is extremely low, and I'm talking low. Plus, also, I stopped them with the prednisone. But I find out that I have got essentially arthritis. So the arthritis starts up, especially in the hand, elbow, and hips. So it's been a challenge, and so I started to decrease the pills for the BP, and now I'm down to about half of those pills. Okay, in the arthritis aspect, exercise is okay now. So I think I'm okay, but it was an interesting trip. Very interesting trip.
Okay.
What did they prescribe for your arthritis?
I haven't asked them yet because I don't think I need anything yet because it isn't that bad. It is occasionally okay in the hands and the elbows at this point. So I will try to hold off on pills. Okay, I hate to take pills, except I got a bunch of them.
How did you lose the weight? I wish I could.
How did I lose the weight? Interesting story. It was in November. I had just returned from Florida. Okay, and so I looked at the scale and I was up to 203 pounds from 193. And I just said, that's it, end of story. I will start to lose weight. So I cut down on the food. Okay, I do not snack. And so I just cut down probably less than the 2,000 calories a day, although I had an interesting experience because I did that and all of a sudden I was tired. And so I thought it was the cancer pills because that's a symptom there. And so I started on the bicycle, okay, to exercise, and that didn't work. So I was scratching my head. And so anyway, it was about the time for the test, on my blood test, essentially every month. So then I got them, okay, the potassium had tanked. I mean, it had dropped like a rock, and it was probably, and with the food choice. So in that, okay, I corrected that, okay, with the pills. And so I started to take a supplement of about 270 a day. That helped. And then just continued on the idea that I drink, let's see, I drink about
He froze.
He froze.
Okay, probably 8 ounces. I don't really eat that much. I don't snack afterward. And I just happened to cut it down. It was called Willpower. And so it slowly, at first it was hard to get off, but then it just started to melt off. And so I guess some of the stomach happened to shrink, I believe. So I dropped it down around 20 pounds into April, and I'm down another 12 pounds now. Okay, and so I had a funny feeling. I said, well, what is this? Not the fact, because I have been trying for years and years to lose. What if I've got another cancer, and it's active, and I'm dropping the weight. So all of a sudden, I said, I have to stop this, and I got to gain a few pounds. That was fun, you know, kind of thing. And so I did that. Okay, and I stabilized it. Okay, and I gained a pound here, you know, and then I would lose a pound. In the meantime, I turned 78. So that I find out has slowed me down because the brain is about 50 and the mind, okay, and the body isn't. So that is the story.
Yeah, because I find for me to lose weight, I've got to be less than 1,200 calories. And it's
Wow.
really hard to get down that low. When I was able to do it when I was running, when I could burn off a lot of calories.
Right.
But now when I'm not running, stationary bike doesn't do it.
No.
Going on a whole food plant-based diet is what's helping me. I've lost probably another 6 pounds in the last 2 weeks. So
Wow.
my jaw's getting tiny, but that's about it.
I just want to tell you, I can see it and it looks great. Now, I was waiting for the right time, but I can tell. I mean, you look healthier, happier. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I think the happier is I've been off Revlimid now for a month.
Okay.
Wow.
I feel so much better, and I have my blood test on the 23rd, and then we find out if I get to stay off.
So explain to me what the Revlimid, in terms of the side effects, what does the Revlimid do? Is it fatigue?
Fatigue and constant diarrhea.
And constant diarrhea. So the constant diarrhea must make it much harder to regulate your diet.
That, and I can't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah. But you've been on Revlimid for how long?
4 years.
And is the diarrhea a side effect for everybody or just some people?
Everybody I've ever heard of.
Did it get you that way? Does it get you that way, Lynn, too?
Goodness, that's been 8 years since I took Revlimid, and I just took it for 3 months. It probably did, and in fact, even today on ibrutinib and so other pills, I do have some GI tract problems. I just stopped taking Flomax. If you guys, that some of y'all may take that.
Very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for enlarged prostate, and it does what it's written up to do, and that's to let you have not go so much. You're able to empty.
Well, and I can, if I'm going to travel, I'll take Imodium, but I just don't want to take Imodium all day, every day, because then you get the other end of the problems.
Yeah.
Well, and I realize you take one pill, you got to take another pill or two to counteract it if that's a necessity. But I just don't like. I'm like Jim. I don't like adding another pill.
Me either.
There is a little known side effect of Flomax, which the urologists don't talk about. And a lot of guys suffer and they don't realize it's from the Flomax, but that's shortness of breath.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you've been suffering at all from some degree of shortness of breath going upstairs or something like that, you may see an improvement once you're off the Flomax.
Well, I haven't even been off of it for a week yet, but we shall see. By the way, Jim, what was your you lost weight and then you gained some back, so you were at 203. Are you down 20 pounds from that now, or more?
Well, actually, I got down to 169, and I was this morning
Wow.
71.
Good for you. Great
Now,
job.
interesting enough, and the low BP was causing the shortness of breath. And so I would get down to approximately 79 over 53.
That's much too low.
I know it is. And so I would have to vent out. So it's called, I fixed that.
What did you do?
I stopped, let's see, I stopped taking the lisinopril.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it has helped.
So
I just happened to stop it. Okay, and I told them with the doctor, except he's on vacation now. So
what's your blood pressure now off the lisinopril?
that I'm trying to do. It was within and with a 120 range over 62.
See, that's fine. So
Mhm.
you're fine.
Yeah, that's, I'd love to have blood pressure like that.
Right.
And my blood pressure is normally,
Let's see, although for the years, and it's been down, okay, in the 108 range over 62.
Mhm.
That's too low. They wouldn't even take my blood for testing or anything when my blood pressure was 105.
Oh,
They
yeah?
said no. They said go away. Come back tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Boy, I've been taking it for years now. The bloodletting, as I
Al,
call it.
how are you doing?
Every month. Every month I get about 7 tests every month.
Well, I do too. But Al, how many do you have to do? Or is that part of
7
your
tests.
bloodletting?
Yeah,
7.
I just go now. I just go now once every 2 months. But speaking of the weight, what was it? I think it was last year. I mean, maybe it was the year before, but yeah, I lost like 20 pounds. And I didn't even know. I just happened to be going to the laundry and throwing some dirty clothes, and we got these big bypass mirror doors. And I walked by there, and I had to step back and say, "Who in the hell's that guy?" And I went and weighed myself, and sure enough, yeah, I was down like 20 pounds. So after that, man, I wanted to put that weight back on, because when I ended up in the hospital, I lost a lot of weight in there too. And I just figured the more weight I have on, the more my body has got to work to take more off. But yeah, I've been up and down like, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds every couple months. I'm just like a roller coaster. And right now I've got a couple pounds on, but I guess that's fine. I'd rather have some weight on me than be skinny.
I can honestly say I weigh within 10 pounds of what I weighed before I had my stem cell transplant. And that was 4 years ago. I am so
Wow.
rock steady on my weight, no matter what I do, except with this whole food plant-based diet. And it's not a diet, it's just a different way of eating. You know, making meat and things like that as a side rather than the main portion. Instead of having a whole steak, I'll have a half of one.
Oh, well, that I could do. I never have a whole steak anyway.
Well, do that and just load up on vegetables and try to have.
That's what we do. I mean, tonight we had for dinner with salad.
Mhm. And then try to eat 30 different vegetables, fruits, or herbs a week.
30.
different ones?
30
I didn't know there
different.
are 30 of them.
I mean,
Well, that's the
really,
secret, is that you've got to find 30. And that's fruits and vegetables and fresh herbs. You can count all those as one.
so
one
I
of the
can
30.
count parsley and basil and
Yeah.
cilantro as 3.
And it's because you're getting the micronutrients and the minerals that you don't get when you just eat potatoes, peas, beans, and corn, and tomatoes.
Right. Cucumbers.
So the basil and the, the parsley and everything are helping you, regulate everything. I'm going to try a rutabaga tomorrow. I have never had a rutabaga.
Oh, you never had a rutabaga?
Oh,
So rutabagas in England are called
Yeah.
Swedes.
I
They're not
thought
called
Swedes were
rutabagas.
turnips.
Well, rutabagas are kind of a turnip, but they're a yellow turnip.
Oh, yeah, right. And they're
Right.
not, I've had Swedes because I'm lived in Ireland a lot.
Okay, well, you've had rutabagas. Rutabagas are Swedes.
Oh,
Herb,
okay.
when you lived in England, did you get bamboozled by the name of the vegetables, and it was something that you thought you didn't know, but it was exactly the same thing that you'd had before? Herb,
Yes. Did I? Oh, you're talking to me.
You're the only herb
No.
here.
Well, I mean, certainly we learned what a courgette was,
Well, and an
Okay.
aubergine. And an aubergine.
right? Aubergine and
Aubergine.
courgette,
Yeah.
right?
And what about rutabaga? Did you learn what a
I
rutabaga
don't think we
was?
had rutabaga at all.
I bet you did.
You never had a Swede.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
Aubergine.
Okay.
But I'm
How
just-
about marrow? Did you
Yes,
have
marrows, of course, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just now writing down how many vegetables I had this week to see how close I can get to 30.
Good.
I was going to ask Sally something, and I forgot. How are you gonna prepare your rutabaga?
Just probably
Sally?
steam it and then mash it with butter and salt and pepper.
Yeah, that's good. Except, just like it were, say, a turnip, you'll need to chop it up into relatively smaller pieces than the whole thing. Don't try and steam the whole thing.
Yeah.
It'll
Oh, no, I'll chop it up.
Be-
Like I do
because-
parsnips and turnips and things like that. Chop them up.
Well, yeah, parsnips are not so bad because they're usually not as thick, but vegetables like turnip that are that thick, if you try and steam them whole, you don't get to the middle of
You'd
them.
be there next week.
Right.
You'd be there next week.
You talk about mashing them up and adding a little butter and stuff. It brings a tear to my eye because it makes me think of my grandma, because that was one of the things she made, which I loved, was swedes and carrots. She'd make swedes and carrots, rutabagas and carrots, and mash them together. And
That's like a
boy,
colcannon in Ireland. Carrots and mashed potatoes, or
Yeah, yeah.
mashed potatoes and
Yeah.
cabbage. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Except this was delicious. Swedes and carrots together, delicious.
I like parsnips
Really
and
good.
potatoes together.
Yeah,
I don't
those
know.
are good.
I'm only up to 16.
You beat me.
Got a way to go.
I mean, how do you get those other 14?
Well, how many fruits do you have on there?
Well, we're eating this right now. We're just eating peaches because it's really peach season.
Well, then if you have peaches, then you have nectarines and
Right,
you
but they're
have
not
plums.
in season. They're not local here yet.
Yeah, well, they should be because they're all stone fruit. They're all ripe at the same time.
I know but like the apricots are gone already.
Yeah, they're gone. But you got plums and nectarines and peaches. So you've got those three, and then you have the melons are all coming in. So you got
Right,
lots
melon.
of kinds
Oh,
of
I
melons.
forgot melon. So that's 17.
How about grapes? Any grapes?
Grapes. That's right, 18.
Did you have a banana this week? It's good for your
No,
potassium.
bananas. We don't have in the summer.
Yeah.
Any apples?
No,
Not
that's
in the
not a
summer.
summer. No, that's not good in the summer.
Apples and pears are fall.
Yeah. Well, you have figs.
Oh, we have a fig tree, and we've got figs on it.
Good. And you have blueberries and blackberries and raspberries.
Oh, right, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries.
And Did you put
when
on?
we're done with you, we're going to start picking on Al. Al, you better get ready, man. We're coming
And
after
figs,
you after we're,
right.
after
And
we're
did you
done
have
with
onion?
them. We're
Did you have
coming
onions
after
and
you.
garlic in your food?
Garlic.
Garlic powder. I don't know.
No, you can't. No,
No,
garlic.
I put in,
That's
no,
not a whole food.
no,
You have
I
to have
made a
whole
stuff,
food.
I made a stuffed tomato recipe the other night, and I put garlic and parsley.
That's good.
Did you include the avocado?
Avocado. We made guacamole.
See, you can do this. Did you add the cilantro?
Yes.
Did you add the lemon
He got
juice?
that. That
How
was
about
low
lemon?
hanging. That was
Lemon
low
and
hanging
lime.
fruit, so to speak.
Lemon and lime.
Lemon and lime. That counts.
How about wine?
No,
No.
that doesn't count.
Hey,
Jim, it's got to be whole, fresh, whole food.
All right, I'm up to
Um,
27 with all your help.
See, so you go out
close.
tomorrow and get a turnip, a swede, and some asparagus.
Oh, we had asparagus.
how about jalapenos? Did you have any jalapenos?
Well, that I put pepper, right?
Was it was it the fruit or dried?
No, I grow them.
Oh, fantastic.
jeez.
I guess I did it. I'm up to 30.
Okay.
Very good.
Hey,
I feel better. Wow, Sally, I feel better. How about you?
I'm so happy for him.
I'm so relieved. Oh my gosh. So listen, tell everybody what you're growing in your garden, Professor.
Well, all I have in my mostly tomatoes. Oh, beans. We're up to 31. Green
Where
beans.
is your garden, Herb?
It's an allotment. It's a communal garden.
I know, but what state?
It's actually in the District of Columbia.
Oh, okay.
It's in DC,
Yeah.
in Rock Creek Park. So
I
it's
cannot believe how good the corn and tomatoes in Indiana are compared to California.
well, the tomatoes in DC in this area are not nearly as good as New Jersey.
right.
Jersey tomatoes are the best.
Indiana, pretty good.
And it's because of it's too hot down here for tomatoes.
Oh,
Tomatoes do not like hot nights, and so they don't set as much fruit. So I have tomatoes, I have peppers, jalapeno peppers, green peppers. I have eggplant. Oh, I forgot eggplant. Eggplant. I have squash. What
Amaro.
else? Beans.
Sally, are you allowed to count different types of peppers, or is it only you only get one? Doesn't matter what different. You only
You
get
can't
one.
count a red one, a green one, a yellow one, and an orange one.
No. But can you count like poblano as being different from, say, or a jalapeno as two? And no.
I don't even know if there are any strict rules. This is just what the dietitian was saying.
Okay, well, I'm going. You're the nutrition police.
What about different kinds of lettuce? I mean, head lettuce is
Arugula
different.
and bib.
Oh, arugula. I do grow
I'm sorry
arugula.
I mentioned this. No, you can't do romaine, arugula, butter lettuce, leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce. You can't do that. That doesn't say.
Well,
Remember,
I'm there.
this is for your health.
So I clearly have a plant-based diet. If I have I've met the criteria.
Did meet the criteria. Very good.
He's gonna exceed it by the time the night's over.
But I do like a cheeseburger periodically.
I know.
Yes. All that food, Herb, you don't lose weight. I can understand that.
Well, on vegetables, you should lose weight. They're just not caloric.
Yeah.
But
no, there's a lot of sugar in vegetables. In vegetables, There's not so much sugar.
Fruits.
Right.
I mean, figs have a really high, figs and grapes have the highest Brix number.
But the thing is we're, as Americans especially, we're all hung up on calories, and it's not all about calories.
Well, I think it is. It's got to be energy in and energy out. It's,
Yeah,
you know,
but if your body is working better because you're feeding it better, then, you know, I don't think calories, unless you're eating, you know, candy bars all day.
Mr. Bailey, you're very quiet here. Is that because you don't want us to pick on you, or what's going on? Talk to us a little bit about what you're making. Do you have a garden at home? Are you growing anything outside?
I guess you were asking me, Rick.
I was.
My dad was a college professor. His PhD was horticulture.
oh, wow.
Undergraduate degree was agriculture. One of his brothers followed him to Texas A&M, got the similar degrees. One of the brothers has a pepper named after him, raised in New Mexico. But
Wow.
I did not follow my dad's leanings towards agriculture or horticulture. I guess I was 6 years old when he taught me how to graft a plant, grafting citrus plants. And plus I got my fill of picking cotton that summer too.
Oh,
But anyway, my career was electrical engineering, which made a lot more sense to me than I'm colorblind, red-green colorblind, I think, which probably made it harder for me to tell the plants apart. And so I just never had a whole lot of interest in that side. My wife used to grow tomatoes. We don't now, but I'd go to the store and pick up the vegetables there. We have a place we go eat at about once every 2 or 3 months, and it's a family style restaurant. You just sit down at the table with a bunch of other people, and there'll be two meats on the table. One of them will be fried chicken, and the other one will be something else. And there will be 10 to 12 vegetables on the table. So,
Wow.
so I love to go eat there. I don't get much in the way. Don't particularly like fried chicken, but whatever the other meat will be, which I'll have some of that. But there'll be potatoes and green beans and green pea salad and potato salad, sweet potato. There'll be corn, be cabbage. Um, it just goes on and on. So, but of course, everything is delicious, which probably means my wife says they've added sugar to it to make it better. But
And salt.
and
I mean,
salt, yeah.
we eat seasonally. So right now we just eat a lot of stuff we get at farmers markets. So last night, for example, I went sailing yesterday. So, and on the way to the sailboat is a farm stand that I always shop at. And he picks fresh corn right there, you know. We're talking about corn that he picked an hour before I bought it. So I bought a bunch of corn, and he had peppers and a melon. So that's mostly our summer is at farm stands. And there's a huge number of them around here, from relatively affordable to outrageous.
Mm.
Sounds
Yeah.
I know in
delicious.
the wintertime, I'm really going to miss my year-round farmers markets. Because like you, Herb, I went out to literally the cornfield and, you know, the little stand in front and got my
Right.
corn, tomatoes and a melon and some banana peppers. And I'm going to make corn soup tomorrow.
Hmm.
So.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well,
So what's in
you know,
corn soup?
Corn soup?
Ha-
I make mine with half and half, corn. I put a jalapeno in it, some sauteed onions. I sometimes put dill in it.
Wow.
Really
sounds
good.
good to me.
Oh, it's
Sounds
good. Last week I made corn fritters.
Because I do have all this extra corn today.
I'll make corn fritters. They're really good. I mean, it's just, cut off, don't cook the corn first. Just cut off the corn on the cob. Mix it with a little bit of flour, salt and pepper. If you want some jalapeno in it, you can put it in. It becomes sort of like a really lumpy, thick pancake batter.
Yeah.
Put a spoonful in hot oil or butter or whatever you're using. Pat it down
Right.
until it's flat. Let it get, and cook it. Don't cook it too fast because it will cook quickly because of the sugars in the corn. And then just let it brown on one side, flip it over, brown at the other. You can serve it with butter and maple syrup like we do in Connecticut, or you can just, you can make a Mariana sauce if you want, but it's really good.
If you want a recipe for corn soup, look up corn chowder.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
And you'll
that's good too.
and look, you'll find a bunch of recipes for corn chowder. But I was going to tell you guys that I lived in Romania for 5 years, and it's not like this country or even in England where you go into a supermarket and all the vegetables are there and you just take what you want off the shelf and pay for it. They really don't have vegetable shops. You have to go to the market. And so you go and you walk through the market, and the only thing that's in the market is what's in season. So you can only buy what's in season.
Right.
I mean, if you try to buy tomatoes in the winter, that you don't find them in the market. They're not there. You would have to go to, at that time, would have had to go to one or two of the expat stores to have found them. So it's really interesting. You learn how to cook what's in season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm old enough to remember that we only cooked what's in season at
Yeah.
home.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we went in the farmers markets when I remember going with my mom and dad. It wasn't you pick up, half a dozen ears of corn and three peppers. You got a bushel of peaches and a bushel of corn and a half a bushel of peppers, and you ate some of it fresh and you canned the rest of it. And I did that for years.
How about you, Al? When you were a kid, how did they buy fruits and vegetables in Tucson and in the valleys?
Well, just like you guys too, we're talking years ago. They don't.
Put Jen and Dimitri in town.
They're trying to bring it back. The farmers markets, and Bobby loves the farmers market. So on the weekends, yeah, she'll go out and see what they have fresh. I think we've always, been eating healthy. I want to bring something up and see if you guys have any ideas. So about the last, I'm going to say probably 3 months, we've been on this kick where we make like this smoothie for breakfast. And what I put in the blender is oatmeal, powdered peanut butter,
Ooh.
a banana, and we'll throw in some spinach, quite a bit of spinach. There's this stuff called Pinole. It's from Mexico, and we can buy it here. I'm sure you could probably find it at some of the, but it's been around for years. I'm going to see if I could pull it up and tell you what it is. But it's powder, and we put it in there also. What else do I put? Oh, cinnamon. Not a lot, just like the oatmeal, the banana, the cinnamon, the pinole. Again, a handful of spinach. And what I do is we'll drink about maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 ounces of it. I'll drink half of that, and then the other half I'll mix in with some of my what is it called? Pumpkin seed cereal that I get at Costco. And I'm good with that.
Al, have you ever tried overnight oatmeal, where you put the
No.
oatmeal in some milk in a like a mason jar, and you put it in the refrigerator and
Yeah.
let it chill overnight? Jim
Never
has.
have.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Else do you put in yours, Jim?
Anyway, I'll put in the cinnamon, probably a banana. I could apple. Let's see, anything else? No.
I've
That's about
sprinkled
it.
in some. I've sprinkled in some granola the next morning, and I've
Wheat
also
germ.
added.
Wheat germ.
I've also added yogurt to it.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Have you ever made overnight oats? It's a cold cereal, but you sort of like what you're doing. You put a quarter of a cup of oats in a big quart jar, and then like a half a cup to a cup of yogurt, some honey. You can put any fruit in it you want. Like I put raisins, little cinnamon, anything you want, and some milk. And then you put a top on it, throw it in the refrigerator, and the next morning it's just like a cold oat cereal, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fast and it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's basically what I was making. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Again,
also slow cooker oatmeal, where you put the oatmeal or put the oats in the slow cooker, and I guess it was water, I forget. But anyway, you put it in there, and put the slow cooker on low overnight.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it, but I use oat milk, which I really like. So I'm gonna try it with oat milk and see how it comes out. But I like this idea. I like this idea. So Pinole, oh, I thought Pinole were pine nuts. Ow.
No.
Oh.
No.
It's roasted ground maize. That
How do you
sounds
spell
really
that?
good. Where'd you get it? Where do I get it around?
They should have it at the grocery stores here in the Southwest. It's everywhere.
Is it?
Yeah. And
So
we
where
used
would-
to have that. We used to have that for breakfast growing up when we were little. The other thing, there's an article on this about the Tarahumara Indians that
Yeah,
run in Chihuahua, Mexico. This
Yeah.
is their fuel for them to run.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I'm gonna get
according
some.
to the,
So-
here, all right.
So do you think I could would I find it at like Food City, Pinole?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
You can
I'm
also get
looking
it at
for
Amazon.com.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
yes,
sure.
you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, it's great fuel.
Okay. All right. Well, I am Pinole. What did that herb put in? It's a grain mixture made predominantly of heirloom blue and purple maize that's roasted with raw cacao beans. Ooh. Then ground into a fine mixture. 700. Oh, sounds good to me. All right. All right, Mr. R. I'm gonna look for some. Hey, you don't buy it at Costco, do you, Al?
They don't
I don't
have
think
it there.
I don't think they carry it, at least not in our Costco.
Yeah.
Al buys a lot of things at Costco. I was going to have him get me some, except that if I got it at Costco, I'd be eating it for the next 5 years, 3 meals a day.
Sure.
I want to try this.
We don't get a lot. We just get what we need, so we don't have to go there often.
You can also just even get it on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going for some of this Pinole. I'm going for some of this Pinole. Next time I'm in the store, I'll look for it. Where do you find it in the store, Al? Is it like with the flour and the
Cereal.
maize?
Probably, yeah, the cereal. Yeah.
It'd be with the cereals.
Oh, with the cereals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Like cream of
back to,
wheat and things like that.
Yeah.
back
Love.
to the fig tree Herb was talking about. Growing
What are
up
you doing?
also,
What are you
our
doing?
neighbors had a humongous fig tree.
What are
They
you
didn't know what to do with the figs. There were so many, the birds were eating them up. My mom asked
Huh.
him, "Can I get some?" And after that, she was allowed to go every year and get some because she would give them back. But anyway, what my mom did, I mean, we would go over there and pick them for her, like a whole big brown grocery bag full of them. My mom would make fig jam. Out of the fig jam, she made empanadas, which are turnovers, fig turnovers. She'd take
Oh,
them
wow.
like 2 dozen.
Fig
Oh, they'd
empanadas.
say, get more figs, get more figs. They were the best. Yes.
So how far away are the figs from being ready, Herb?
I don't know. Since this is the first year we've had them, I don't know when they'll be ready. I'm just hoping the birds don't get them before we do.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I may have to put a cover on it to sort of
Yeah.
protect them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know,
mean,
but Nancy, I didn't expect it. I mean, we had we just planted the fig tree, and then this year I said, my God, there's figs there,
So
which I
Herb,
didn't expect.
what you got to do is get those signs that got the red circle with the slash and put a bird in it. No birds.
No bird, right. And what about the squirrels?
The same with them.
they can't read. The squirrels can't read. It works for the birds, but it doesn't work for the squirrels. We've got my landlord has a nectarine tree. But the birds got to the nectarines before we did this year.
Yeah.
But he also planted a pomegranate tree, and this is like the third year, and this year we're going to have loads of pomegranates.
Wow.
I love pomegranate.
Oh, well, we'll have to see if we can
But you're
get you a
coming in
couple of
September. Let's hope they'll be ready before September.
I know, before September.
Well, Herb, there's another one for you. Pomegranate. You can sprinkle that on your salads.
Hmm?
Yes, I like
That's it.
pomegranate arrows. Right, we put that in salad. So
Yeah.
we may be up to 40 before the night's over.
And Herb, it's not 30 a day, it's 30 a week.
No, I mean it might be 40 in the course of a week, just because we don't eat
Yeah,
the same
40
thing
over
every
a
day.
week.
So
Now,
Herb,
we had
let's
enough
get
of our vegetable discussion.
let's get back to the blood cancer. How's your brother doing? What's the report
Well, I
on
mean,
your
he's
brother?
past his 100 days. His MRD tests are negative with PCR, so that he's very happy. He's now got his COVID shots. Because if you've read the story, by the way, Revlimid doesn't work against this current variant.
Revlimid never
Not
did.
Revlimid. I'm sorry. The one Evershield.
Evershield?
Evershield doesn't work against the current variant.
I hadn't heard that.
Right. It doesn't work against Omicron. So
Well,
he
I
had
haven't gotten COVID.
I did actually. I got over COVID last week. I did something that my wife would not want me to do, which is I went to a scientific meeting, and it was probably a super spreader event. So he's good. He looks great. I haven't seen him lately because they've been at their summer house, but I expect to see him next week. And he didn't want to go near me when I was recovering from COVID. So, which is understandable. But I think he's doing well. So that's all I know at the moment.
Well, good. But how does he feel? Does he feel stronger?
He
Does
feels
he
fine.
feel?
Yes, he feels stronger. He looks great. I mean, I'll see him. I'm sure I'll see him next week, but I think it's fine.
Good, good, good. Now, Jim, are you over your COVID?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Interesting enough. And where the sister of mine happened to travel and we're to Florida and we're MM type. And she traveled there. And during the time she was there, essentially everybody but her got the COVID, including me. And so I got it just as I left. You know, I must have got it on a Saturday. I left on a Sunday. So it wasn't really a thing. But she is now traveling and she actually feels good now. Okay, halfway decent. Okay, I think she had the stem cell about 2.5 to 3 years ago. And she's on a drug too, but I don't know and with the name of it. I think it's
I bet it's daratumumab.
I will ask her.
Either that or Pomalyst. Those are the two that they're using now in combination or as standalones with Revlimid.
Oh, okay. So, and I will ask her. Okay, because she has gone through now 4 of the cancer doctors who are retiring. Okay, retired. Although she is going to get a guy who is going to come to Tulsa out of supposedly MD Anderson. Now, how come he is going from there up there? I don't know, but he's supposedly quite good. And I shall get the name of him. So.
Okay.
Well, what do you think, everybody? Since we have, gotten through most of everything tonight, can we stop early?
Yeah, I think we
Yes,
could.
of course we can.
I think we can.
Just make sure nobody else. Al, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, we went through the COVID. I guess I had it the same time Herb did. That was a weird thing. I mean, I got it real mild, like allergies and just like a cold for a day.
I had basically cough and sneezing and runny nose. It was like a cold.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a fever. I didn't have any headache or aches and pains. Didn't have any changes in smell. But and then finally I just tested. One day I tested negative.
Yeah.
But Bobby had a tougher time because Bobby didn't get it forever, and then she finally got it, right, Al?
Yeah, she was just a day behind me. No, she didn't have a hard time with it. No, she was a day behind me. But it's funny how we had the symptoms and didn't test positive till about the 4th or 5th day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have the virus load yet.
But we had, we knew something was coming on, and we just kept checking and checking. And finally, it was until the 4th or 5th day that it showed positive.
You're better now, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks already.
Oh, okay. I thought it was last week. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you
Take
for all
care.
being
We'll see
here,
you all.
keeping me company.
Okay.
Peace out.
Rick,
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Rick, you want to stay on?
Oh yeah, I can stay on with Al. Yeah, I'll start with Herb. I can stay on with Herb for a
Okay.
minute.
Peace
Let's
out.
stop the recording though.
Yeah, stop the recording.